Oh, howdy hi Illumineers, my very first video involving Lorcana, and we will be diving into one of my many quirky decks. If you don't know me, and you don't know my TikTok videos that I do on a regular, you will know me as a very creative mind when it comes to decks in the game of Lorcana. I make all sorts, the wacky, the weird, and the chaotic. If you want to see those videos and a bunch of other videos that I make on a daily basis, head on over to my TikTok page, which is at TheXploder Streams. That is at TheXploder Streams. You can check that out in the description below after the video. But we're not going to worry about that. Today we're going to be focusing on this new deck that I've been thinking about and constructing from the ground up that I call Emerald Sapphire When Rourke Met Hades. A very amazing budget deck at only less than $30. You too can play with this fun tech. Let's go over it. We've got 4 copies of Milo the Clever Cartographer, and we have him because we are running 2 copies of Milo Thatch, King of Atlantis, where we can do shift plays, as well as other plays which are the core parts of the tech, which we'll go into later on. The Shift Milo, in case you don't know, has the ability of, whenever he is banished, return all opposing characters to their players' hands, effectively being a bounce version of Be Prepared. Then we have Aurora, Tranquil Princess, the 2-drop that has Ward, as well as the Aurora 5-drop Dreaming Guardian from set 1 that gives all other characters Ward. We also have another character in here that gives Ward to our characters, and effectively the idea is to create a Ward wall so that most of our characters are protected by pinpoint effects and pinpoint removal, and that's the whole trick, basically, in a nutshell. But on top of that, the trick also includes Lyle, Tiberius Rourke, 4 copies of him with the abilities of when he is played, a chosen character gets reckless during their next turn, and thanks for volunteering, whenever one of your other characters is banished, each opponent loses 1 lore. Now, we're doing this as a little bit of lore control, but to help us with the lore control, we are combining Rourke with Hades, Double Dealer, which has the ability Exert, and here's the trade-off, banish one of your other characters. Play a character with the same name as the banished character for free. So, that will trigger Rourke's effect. So, because it counts as a banish, Rourke's effect triggers, therefore your opponent loses 1 lore and you get a character out of the deal. So that means that this mini Milo over here can immediately be played out into the big Milo. Yes, that means Big Milo does have summoning sickness, but it immediately comes into play and immediately makes your opponent wet their pants. Same thing with the Aurora. The Aurora, sadly, would be gone and out of play, and the new one comes out, but luckily, as soon as she comes into play, immediately giving everyone Ward is a huge plus as well. That will also make your opponent go, what the hell are you doing? Awesome little tech here, but let's have a look at the other characters we have to really add some spice to this also. We have 4 copies of Anna, Braving the Storm. We are running a bunch of heroes in this deck, so because we're running a bunch of heroes, Anna is going to be our cheap, easy way to get that little bit of aggro very early on. If you do a 1-drop Milo into a 2-drop Anna very early on, or even if you do 1-drop Milo, 2-drop Aurora, then into Anna a little bit later on, Anna's going to clock off. And if people are not focusing on what Anna's bringing to the table, you're going to be building up that 2 lore every single turn and building up threat on the board. And that's what we want to do. We want to make our opponent tackle into our guys. So they'll lose lore, we'll keep gaining lore in a multitude of different ways, and effectively control the board and mix things up into our level of tempo. We're also running 4 copies of Jacques, Connoisseur of Climbing. I love this card in combination with Rourke over here because of the reckless trait that it gives upon being played. Also, combined with Hades, as well as another card you'll see later on, another couple of cards, you'll see what I mean. It means that we'll be able to reliably replay Rourke, laying down reckless traits on our opposing characters. So even if they seem like really imposing, scary characters, they're gonna have to swing, and when they have to swing, they can't quest, and when they can't quest, they're not gaining lore, which means you can. Fantastic stuff. I love Jacques in this deck. We're also running 4 copies of Prince Philip, Gallant Defender, with the ability of whenever one of your characters is chosen for support, they gain resist +1. Not the biggest ability in the world, but that's not what we're worried about. He does also quest for 2 lore, which is a very big plus on turn 3. But the main reason we have this Philip is because we have the 4-cost uninkable Philip, Warden of the Woods, another target for Hades, which then, upon being played, your other hero characters gain Ward, and combined with Aurora, who also counts as a hero and gives everyone, regardless of whether they are heroes or not, Ward. If you get out an Aurora and a Philip, all of a sudden you have your wall of warding. And the ward wall, as I like to call it, can be really scary to your opponents. I have played this in testing and it scared a few people. Because then all of a sudden they can't use Baboon, they can't use the mini Sisu effect, they can't use Brawl, they can't use Medusa, they have to rely on mass removal or non-direct target removal like Lady Tremaine or the King Undisputed. Again, creating threats on the board your opponent has to deal with. We're also running 4 copies of John Silver Alien Pirate. The main reason? Same reason as Jacques. Comes down the board, immediately makes one of your opposing characters gain Reckless, and in combination with another card you're going to be seeing later on, this John Silver will also help us play some of our lower tier characters, which is really cool. So yeah, nice little spicy Reckless tech. And also, to add some extra spice to the Philip, we are running 2 copies of Prince Philip, Vanquisher of Foes. Not just is he evasive, but he quests for free, he has a 6/6 stat block, and whenever you play this character, banish all opposing damaged characters. Now, we're not prioritizing damaging our opponents, but if they are being forced to go reckless, attacking into our guys, taking that little bit of a 1 damage here, 2 damage there, you bring out Philip, either by shifting or by using Hades, bang, all of a sudden they are all gone. They're not gone into your opponent's hand, they're properly banished. This is a card your opponent won't see coming, and when they do, it's already too late. And those are the characters, 44 in total, very nice range. But let's have a look at the actions here, not a lot of them. We're running 2 copies of Bounce, basically to allow us to bounce back any cards that we want and bounce back an opposing character. A little bit of control just to help us out. Also helps us get back our Jacques so we can do Reckless again. Gets back our John Silvers so we can do Reckless again. Gets back our Hades if we're worried that Hades is going to be tackled into and we have no way of responding afterwards and we want to keep the Hades alive. We can bounce him back, bounce any of our lower stuff back that we just don't want to get rid of right freaking now. Really handy stuff. We're also running 4 copies of Hypnotize, a little bit of hand control, but the reason why we're mostly playing this is so that we have a little bit of card draw. You're going to notice we're not going to have a lot of card draw in this deck, but Hypnotize will help us out that little bit, as well as Porpsicle, because of course we are running 4 copies of Porpsicle as well. So Porpsicle combined with Hypnotize should hopefully give us all the card draw we need to really control the board. We're not worried about card draw a lot, like I said, because if everything plays out the way we want it to, we're going to have cards in our hand where we can replay later on, or replay straight away, either via shifting or other means. So it shouldn't be too much of an issue. One boss card in this deck is 4 copies of Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. It is an action song, it can be sang by anyone 3 cost or higher, and it returns chosen character of yours to the hand, play another character with the same cost or less for free. So, you can effectively do this as a tech. Let's say you've played Jacques. Jacques has made an opponent reckless, your opponent did their thing, it's now back to your turn, Jacques can quest for 2. And that's great, but if the board is in such a way where you want to keep control and maybe add some more reckless traits going on here, there and everywhere, you can sing with Jacques, Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, target Jacques himself and then play himself again. You don't need another copy of Jacques in your hand, because the trick is, you bounce it back into your hand, it now counts as being in your hand, so you can play the exact same card out again, making it really trippy. You can also do this in combination with Prince Philip, Vanquisher of Foes. He's a 9 cost, so you can effectively play any other of your characters, including Milo Thatch, King of Atlantis, if you so wish. You can bounce back the shifts to bring back their minis. You can bounce back the shifts to just replay the shifts, removing any damage that they may have on them, so that then they come back in play, they're not exerted anymore, and all their effects re-trigger again if they have anything on play. This card is really, really good. And the fact that you can sing it as well gives you a little bit more utility. You can just do it for free. You can hard cast it. Whenever you need it, it's here for you. Great card. And last but not least, 2 copies of Hidden Cove. I wanted to put a location in here, but something relatively cheap. And Hidden Cove is fantastic. Characters get an extra +1 attack and +1 defense while they're here. If we are going to make them reckless, they're going to have to attack into something. If they attack into the location, I get it, that's absolutely fine. But if they decide to attack into a character and they don't remember that your character does have the +1 attack, +1 defense while they're at the location, that can be all you need to switch the tides into your favor. Plus, it also makes it so that early on, or even later on, if your opponent is using cards like Brawl, Medusa, or anything along those lines that have certain attack level requirements, you can deny them just by simply moving a character to the Hidden Cove. It is a plus and a very nice little tech to have. With all that in mind, that is the deck profile, but let's go through with a little bit of testing. We're going to play a few games through Inktable, effectively playing the deck against itself so that I can learn some tech and maybe you can learn some tech too, and we will see how this all goes. Let's go straight to it. Alrighty, so we're over here in Inktable. If you haven't seen Inktable before, effectively it's a nice little online program you can do to play decks against a really well-made AI and effectively simulate battles against any decks that you've created, which is really cool. You can see a bunch of decks I've been testing over in the left over there, but of course we're going to be testing when Rourke met Hades against itself so that I may learn some new tech that the AI have just randomly played out. You may learn some new tech too. Let's get straight into it. We're going to just decide who does it by random. We might do a couple of games of this just to see how it goes and treat it like a traditional game. Now, you will notice one thing about the AI, unless it's changed recently. The AI tends to be a little bit more aggressive than what a normal player would be. So if you see the AI doing plays that a regular player won't necessarily do, now you understand. So obviously, take any testing we do through Inktable with a grain of salt, but it is still a useful tool to use regardless. Right, so in our opening hand, we do have a Hades, which is fantastic. We don't have a Rourke, but do have some nice little cards to start us off. I love having Anna in turn 1, but because we don't have Rourke, I don't want Jacques. I don't want the Philip this early on because we don't want Uninkables. Same with Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. And I don't want the John Silver either. I'm going to keep Hades, keep Hypnotize, and keep Anna in hopes that we can get some cheaper stuff. Let's all pray. That we do, and fantastic. Yes, we drew into one of our Philips, which is a bit bad, but we did get Popsicle for at least a 1-drop, and that should hopefully help us out. So we have a nice curve started. Right. Starting things off, we'll actually ink the Dreaming Guardian Aurora, because we won't need her this early on. And we'll play a Popsicle, a very standard first turn play for any Sapphire decks. And we pull straight into a Milo. Fantastic stuff. Pass to our opponent, see what the AI does. Do they copy us or do we do something different? Let's see. Or do we not? Who knows? No, we decide to go for Milo first. Okay. Brilliant. They've got a character on the board this early on. Our next turn, we've finally got Rourke. Fantastic. Okay, so on our turn 2, I could play Anna, but what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to ink the Prince Philip, because he's too big. We're not going to get him out anytime soon. And what we do here is, we're going to play out Anna. And that means next turn I can play Milo potentially. And then Anna can quest for 2 instead of 1, which would be great. They've played Hidden Cove and moved Milo into Hidden Cove. So Milo is now a 3/3, only questing for 1 still, but that's going to hurt. It's going to make it a little bit more scary for us to initiate quests and initiate challenges. But I think that means maybe we go into Rourke early and we maybe test for water to see whether our opponent's going to tackle into Anna or not. Very, very iffy. Tell you what, let's do this. Let's Inca Hypnotize. Let's play out... Yeah, let's play out Rourke. And then we're going to make Milo be reckless. But then we're going to pass. We're not actually going to quest or anything. So now this means Milo has reckless, so Milo cannot quest. Oh no, there's Jacques. So Jacques has now made it so that one of our characters is reckless. And they've picked Anna, so Anna has to attack next turn. But they haven't actually triggered any of their characters either, or exerted them in any way. So we will be able to attack in the hidden cove and actually deal 1 damage to that instead. That works in our favor. Not a problem at all. So I'm going to ink the other Anna we just pulled into. And on turn 4, we don't have any viable targets for Hades yet, so I'm not going to worry about him. I think my best port of call, we're going to play out Milo so that we could quest for 2 if we ever get the chance. And I'm also going to play Hypnotize so we can get a little bit of card draw and we can force our opponent to discard. And we discarded a Philip. That's really cool. And we get an extra Anna in our hands, so if this Anna does go next turn, we can just replay it. So that's absolutely fantastic. We will quest. I will not quest with Rourke because, of course, Anna has Reckless on her, so she needs to attack. So we will attack with Anna. Anna will go straight into the hidden cove, deal 1 damage to the cove, and that's absolutely fine. We're not going to do anything with Rourke, because if we do, Rourke will be a prime target for everybody. I'm quite surprised that the AI didn't think that Jacques should target Rourke, but heck, it's a tech. Oh, and there's a Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. Is he going to do the tech? No, switches out for a Prince Philip instead. See how it works? And then is able to replay the Jacques. See what I mean? And now Jacques comes back into play, able to pick another character for being reckless. Milo goes into Anna for 3 damage. And I don't know who the AI has actually... I don't think the AI has actually picked... No, AI has picked Anna for the reckless play again. Okay. See how crazy that tech is? Just with the AI using it alone, it's bad. So, we will probably ink out the John Silver, because again, he's quite pricey. Do I bring out my own Philip, or do we maybe bring out Hades? Well, if I bring out Philip, it means we have Ward, so we'll be protected from any target removal. Not that it's really handy in a mirror match, but what I'll do instead then, because we are going to be doing a mirror, let's actually play Hades instead, so that we can have Hades set up ready to go. And there's no point using Popsicle, because Popsicle will remove 2, Milo can do 3 next turn, and Anna will still go. So what we'll do instead, we will just challenge into the Hidden Grove with Anna. I could also tackle the Hidden Cove with Milo and bring it down to 4 instead of 6, but I'm not going to yet. The reason why is because if I did, that also means that Milo is up for potentially being destroyed by the Jacques. And yes, it could do a little bit more lore control, but it depends on what my opponent really does. So with that, we'll pass the turn. Let's see how things go now. My opponent now only has 1 card in their hand. They've played out their own Rourke, which is danger zone level for us. But that's fine. Anna's gone. They lose their lore. Their Milo is still alive, which means we don't lose lore on our turn. But they gain 2 via Jacques. And we're probably going to gain 3/4 through Philip if they decide to do anything with Philly. There you go. Go straight up to 4 lore. In a mirror match, you're probably not going to see a lot of the right tech you probably want to see in other decks. So after the mirror match, I'll probably do 1 match with a different deck so you can see the differences. So we're up on ink, we're up on cards. I kind of want to keep it that way, but I do definitely need to get some characters out on the board. So, do we play out Anna, Hidden Cove, and move people to the Cove? In fact, I've got a better idea. Let's play out the Cove, and then move Rourke to the Cove, Milo to the Cove, and Hades to the Cove. So everybody's partying at the Cove. We've got +1/+1s the same as they do. So because we have +1/+1s, Milo can attack for 3. It won't get rid of their Cove. I'm trying to get rid of their Cove if I can. It may mean potentially sacrificing the Hades, but if I do, their lore goes down. It's definitely a good thing. So, I reckon we play the betting game and try that out. So, I'm going to challenge the Cove with both Milo and Hades. I could have probably just done it with Hades in fairness. But if we do that, Cove's gone, so they lose all of their +1/+1s, which is fantabby-dozy. We don't have any lore to lose anyway, so that's absolutely fine. We could also attack with Rourke, because Rourke does become a 3/5. And you know what? I'm actually going to risk it and do just that. I'm actually going to get rid of their Prince Philip, just so we have a little bit more board control at the same time. Because we only take the 1 damage, we have 5 willpower. If we take another point of damage from Jacques, we can just heal it off with Popsicle. Everything's coming up Millhouse. We should be absolutely fine. And if we can keep up this level of control moving forward, we should be absolutely fantastic. Yeah, Jacques now becoming a big threat. Questing for 2 is a big problem. And you see what I mean by the AI. The AI is going to make decisions that a regular human being wouldn't. So, they're questing with Rourke. Leaving Rourke wide open, which is exactly what we want. So, what we will do now is, I reckon we are going to ink the Aurora we've just pulled. And we're just going to play out everything. We're going to play out Anna, and we're going to play out Philip. So now all of our heroes gain ward. Not that we're really going to need it in the mirror match, but it's handy to have. It means that their bounce, we'll be able to bounce one of their characters back. But as long as our heroes have ward, they can't target our hero characters for being bounced back, but they can target our Rourkes and our Hades, which is a bad thing for them. If they take them back into our hands, actually a net positive for us, not for them. So I think what I want to do here is we're going to challenge... I want to get rid of Rourke first. That's the big thing. So with Rourke on the board, we're going to tackle Hades into Rourke and just get rid of it. That now means that we are not going to be losing anything anytime soon. Might as well use a Popsicle, heal the 2 damage that we have there so Hades has nothing on him. After all that, we will then probably get rid of Jacques. I can take 1 extra damage. I only deal 3 damage though on that case. Ooh. And I have to tackle 2 into him. Don't like the idea of that. But you know what? A little bit of board control goes a long way. Why don't we do it? Why don't we just do it? That's what we're going to do. So challenge for that, get Jacques off the board. Because if our opponent draws into anything like bounce or bibbidi bobbidi boo, they'll just replay Jacques again and then Jacques triggers. And it will not be nice. And we don't want things that are not nice. Yes, we are running on top deck city, baby! But we should be fine. Should be absolutely fine. There's Philip. Philip's just going to quest. And that's fine. That is absolutely fine. Because now that it is back to our turn, what do we pull into? Ooh, John Silver. Fantastic. We can play him right off the bat. And when we do play him right off the bat, I'm going to make it so that this Philip has to attack next turn. So that now means that they are only going to be able to quest for 1 with the Hades and do naught else, which is fantastic. While for us, what we're going to do is we're basically going to quest with everybody. So we're going to quest with Philip for 2. We're going to quest with Anna for 2, so we're straight into 4. Look, that's fantastic. We're actually going to quest with Hades for the odd 1, because Hades being a 4/4 is actually quite scary. We'll quest with Milo, because if Milo does get ripped off the board, guess what? Rourke triggers, they lose lore. That's fantastic. But now I won't quest with Rourke. I'm not going to quest with Rourke until it comes close to himself. You can tell, it's a bit of a tongue twister, isn't it? Quest with Rourke. I want you guys to try that. When you're watching this video, try your best to say quest with Rourke 5 times in a row without stumbling. If you can do that, I'll give you props. So see, they had to do the same thing I did earlier. They got rid of a hidden code. Sad times. But we'll be fine. We'll be absolutely fine. Should we trade Hades for Hades? Because if we did, it would trigger Rourke, because it counts as a banish. And that means that they will go down to 8. But we can always quest with everybody and just play out another Hades and go from there. It might be my best move in the mirror match. So what we're going to be doing here, no point moving. Vet's on board. He does have Jacques. Rourke has Reckless, and that's the problem now. So Rourke has to attack this turn if he is able to. Bit of a sad face moment. Right. But I'll tell you what we're actually going to be doing right here. John Silver's a big boy. He can probably take it on. But I think what we're going to do... Rourke's going to die one way or another unless we do something, to be honest. Ooh, you left me in a bit of a conundrum, haven't you? John Silver will swing into Prince Philip, because Philip has a big butt, and we need to get rid of his big butt. So yes, we take 3. But at least Philip's gone. Now we got to deal with Hades. And at least with Hades, in the clash, we can trade our Philip with their Hades. And their Hades is gone. Which is fantastic. And now Philip stays out on the board. We're good to go. And now Rourke, even though he has Reckless, has no targets to attack. So our Rourke will actually stay on the board. Which is fine. We can just quest with absolutely everybody. And we are good to go. Do I play the Hades? I'll keep Hades in hand just in case. Don't want to use all my cards unless I really need to. If they play out an Aurora, that's not going to be a threat anytime soon unless you shift on her. And even then, if you shift on her, 2 lore, doesn't have any other protection for yourself, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Okay, so Jacques now have a big threat on the board by being able to quest for 2 every turn. Oh, brilliant. We have Hypnotized, but my opponents have no cards in their hand. So we can always play to just draw a card, but 3 cost to draw a card, a bit pricey. I think in this case, we just play out Hades. Just raw play out Hades, and at least we have characters out on the board. And then we can quest all day long. The one thing I will do, I want to get rid of that Jacques, because I don't want you gaining 2 lore every turn. But yet again, you've got to outquest me. I'm the threat here. And if you take out any of my threats, that's a problem. So yes, questing with John Silver, now you have to attack. I'm going to put that on Jacques. So Jacques has to attack us every time now, which is fantastic. I love John Silver. Quest again with Anna, go to 16, go to 17, go to 18. Could go to 19 with Rourke, but we're threatening for game already with 18. That's absolutely fine. Let's pass. We'll see what the AI does. But if they do anything involving our characters, guess what? They're going to lose lore. So I think the AI will just quest. The only attack they'll have to do is with Jacques. Jacques goes into Philip. That's fine. Jacques stays alive. But guess what? Still have enough things on the board to be able to absolutely win. Didn't pull into bounce or anything, so we are absolutely fine. Everything's good and dicey. If they actually drew into the big Philip, I wouldn't have been scared anyway, because they only have 4 ink. They got shafted like hell. We actually did alright. 6 ink is about our average for where we want to be. But that's it. We'll quest with John Silver, get for 2, there's for 20, might as well give Reckless to you, but it's game over. We win. Fantastic first game. But mirror matches, sometimes they're good to learn new techs in case you're not too keen. Other times, doing a mirror match when it's a little bit of a quirky deck like this doesn't quite show off the deck so well. So let's try it against another one of my decks, shall we? Okay, game number 2, and now we're going to mix it up a little bit more. So this time round, the AI is going to be running my Broom deck that I play on a regular basis. Currently in retirement, but it'll come out of retirement whenever I need it. This is an interesting hand. We don't need 2 Rourkes. We don't need the Bibbly Bobbly Boo this early on. We've got Rourke and Hades and even Aurora, which is great. I don't want Aurora this early though, if I can help it. I actually want her a little bit later on. So having a 1-drop Milo's fine. I'm willing to risk it. Let's go. Trade those ones in. And it's okay. Okay. That's actually not too bad. We do get John Silver, and that's our obvious ink target for turn 1. And we'll immediately... Do we pay out Milo or Cove? Let's go Milo. So we could do Milo now, Cove next turn, move to Cove, and Milo instantly becomes a 3/3 threat, which is a really big deal. There you go. First turn, Luminary Keeper, very standard for Brooms, can't complain there. Brilliant stuff. And we get another Cove. Excellent. Do I want to keep a Cove? No, not in this case. Let's risk it. Let's ink the Cove, and then I think we will do what I did say the other day. So we're going to do the Cove there, move Milo into the Cove, and then we'll quest with Milo for 1. That now means that Cove instantly becomes a gigantic threat. Milo's still a threat because now we are questing, and Milo is a 3/3, which is a big deal because a Luminary Keeper needs to do his thing. But are you going to play a 2-drop Broom? No, but there's Yen Sid. There is Yen Sid not triggering the Broom because they probably want to capitalize on Yen Sid being able to quest for 3, so we're going to have to deal with that. Luckily, Milo being a 3/3 will now let us immediately take out the Yen Sid, so we have a counter. And we have our first shift target, Milo Fat, for 4, if we need to go that far that early on. I think at the moment, we're not going to worry about Anna. Instead, we're going to focus on going straight to Hades when we can. And even then, I don't think we're worried about... Are we worried about Rourke this early on? Or do we want to hypnotize to get a little bit of control on? I think for the fact that we can play out Hades and then Rourke afterwards, let's do it. Let's set up our board. So we're going to play out Rourke. Now one of them needs to attack next turn, and we're going to make Yen Sid attack. And since we're making Yen Sid attack, we're then going to quest with Milo, just to add a little bit more of a threat out there. Everything good. So even if they play out another Broom next turn, Yen Sid will not be able to quest for free, shutting them down, stopping them from being able to do anything. Okay, they play out Industrial Model Broom, probably giving the they gave the Resist +1 to a Luminary Keeper. Interesting, didn't give it to Yen Sid, but I guess Yen Sid's just going to tackle the code for 1. That's absolutely fine. As I said, it just stops Yen Sid from being able to quest for free, and now, next turn, Milo can get rid of Yen Sid. Perfect, that's exactly what we need. Now for this turn, I'm going to ink the Aurora. We don't need her yet. And we're going to play out the Hades. Because our hope is, if Milo can survive, we'll be able to use Hades to then basically get Milo up into Big Milo, trigger the Banish, lower the Law, and now we have a big threat on the board where if our opponent gets rid of it, everything goes back to their hand. In Brooms, that can actually be quite devastating, because that means that your entire board state's gone. Yes, you can get more card draw with Yen Sid, but it does mean you're not questing. If you're not questing with Brooms, you're not winning with Brooms. So, it works in our favour. At least in my eyes, it works in our favour. Let's see what the Brooms end up doing. There's Sorcerer's Tower. Okay, so Illuminary Keeper and Industrial Model will most likely move straight in there. Industrial Model is not. He's actually let the Storm rage on. Youch. 2 damage on Rourke. That's fine. That is okay. Yen Sid immediately questing for free. I should have actually whacked in the Yen Sid last turn. I don't know why I didn't. I'm such an idiot. Look at me being an idiot. I said I was going to do a thing and I didn't do it. Now Brooms are on 7. See what I mean? This is why you don't sleep on Brooms. If you sleep on Brooms, we can quickly catch up on more, but we should be absolutely fine still. Bit of a shafty hand. Bit of a shaft. Because I don't really want to ink hypnotize, so we're going to miss an ink drop here, which is very upsetting. What we will do, though, we will definitely use the card ability of Hades. We are going to bounce back for Milo and play out the big Milo, because it counts as a balance. They went down, because it counts as a banish. They went down to 6. Fantastic. Should have probably gotten rid of a Yen Sid first, but yet again, I'm an idiot. What can I say? Misplays are not counted as advice in this video. Misplays do not equal success. But with that being done, we can now... Let me have a look here. Tell you what I'll do. We have Milo out of the board. As our... We can ward him with Philip if we so wanted to. But what do I want to do? We're going to move Rourke into Hidden Cove so he doesn't die to another Let the Storm Rage on next turn. Then I'm actually going to play out Hypnotize just so it can cause my opponent to get rid of something. They get rid of a Mim Fox, which is fantastic. And we draw into another Hypnotize. So that's okay. That is absolutely okay. Do I want to ink the Hypnotize? Go on. Just to make sure I'm up on my ink and I actually don't miss the ink drops, I better. And then I won't quest with Rourke. Yeah, I am making some very big mistakes, but please, 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 do not take my mistakes as direct advice as to how to play the game. I make mistakes just like anyone else would. And heck, I'm testing this deck out just as much as anyone else is. So, it is what it is. Just don't worry. Okay, so Mickey, another big problem. Because now, if we did get rid of the Brooms will... That was a choice. Oh yeah, but that's what happens. Now the Brooms, when they get destroyed during a challenge, they will return back to the hand. Mickey makes it so the Brooms are 1 cost cheaper. And so Illuminary Keeper basically comes back for free. It's a net positive. Illuminary Keeper will just immediately move back into the Sorcerer's Tower. This is how Brooms operate, people. I made this deck and I love this deck to pieces. Why do you think I hate it? Ooh, I get bounce. Interesting. I can bounce Rourke, bounce back one of theirs. Ooh, we got some plays here, boys. We got some plays. I like it. Okay, I think what we're going to do in this case, we will challenge with, and this is going to seem a bit weird, but I definitely need to get rid of Yen Sid. So we're going to challenge Yen Sid with Milo Fat. Because if our opponents do anything to Milo, they are basically causing themselves to bounce back all their characters back to their hand. It's fantastic. Then next turn, I'm not going to quest with Hades this turn, but what I'll do instead next turn, I'll attack the Sorcerer's Tower with both Hades and Milo to clear that out of the way as soon as I can. Now with what I have going for me, ooh, wait a minute. I'm actually going to, what would you do here? No, you do 2 damage, okay. We do 2 damage onto the tower, ready? I have options here. But no, I think my best action here, I'm going to quest with Rourke. Seems a bit weird, right? But we're going to play Bounce. And what we're going to do, we're going to bounce back Rourke to then bounce back their Mickey. So that they can't do their shenanigans anymore. And then because we have 3 left, we're just going to replay out Rourke. And because we replay out Rourke, the Luminary Keeper now has to attack us next turn. Fantastic. So anything that we take will only be 1 damage, and we manipulate the board in our favour again. Do I quest with Hades? Not this turn. I want Thatch to be our only threat. Because if our opponents attack him anything, I want it to either be Milo or Hidden Cove. And by the looks of things, are you going to just tackle into Milo and say, Kumbaya? Yes, you are. So everything's gone, everything's bounced to hand. That's worked in our favour, that's not too bad. That is not too bad at all. And they play out the rabbit, so we get a little bit more card draw. Brooms are just going to have the card advantage over us, I think. And I think that's the glaring issue with this gimmicky deck. There is just a lack of card draw. Just a severe lack of card draw, unless you're extremely lucky. Okay, next turn, what have we got? We went into a Phillip, so we can Phillip for Phillip with Hades if we so wanted to, which may actually be a good shout. Well, not in this case, because then we go Phillip into Phillip, and there's no heroes to give ward, which is a bit of a scary prospect. So this is what I'll do instead. I'm going to play out Phillip normally, just so we have a 2 Lore Quester out. Then I can play Phillip Raw next turn, and put another threat out there. Then what we're going to be doing here is, you have Mim Snake. I do need to get rid of Sorcerer's Tower, but Milo's now gone. Sad face. A bit titty goo goo. But what we'll do, we're going to move Hades and Rourke into the cove. Might as well use the ink that we have that is spare. Hades now attacks for 4. Rourke now attacks for 3. So with that in mind, that is 7. That is 7 exactly. You know what? I'm going to risk it for a biscuit. We're going to make ourselves a little bit of a threat, but we're going to get rid of Sorcerer's Tower. Because the longer Sorcerer's Tower stays out, the longer that is a threat. And that's a threat we do not want. Very interesting game I'm having with Brooms here. Very interesting. Bears let the Storm Rage on, it'll probably hit Rourke. No, it hits Hades. Okay, so Hades on 3, but he does have 1 life remaining because of Hidden Cove. And Snake decides to quest. Interesting. Do you have a Mim Fox in hand? You gonna fox me? No. Just plays into the Mickey. That's a little interesting. Gets a Luminary Keeper as well, so you're getting the board stay out again. Okay. Little interesting there. Little interesting. But we have another 1-drop Milo, and I'm gonna play him. I'm just gonna play Milo, and we're also gonna play out the Big Phil. So now, if they do want to do any Let the Storm Rage ons, they have to do it on Hades or Rourke. It's just what they have to do. And I think what we're going to have to do is just quest with Hades. And quest with Phillip. And then Phillip and... yeah, sure, we might as well just give support to somebody. And give them resist +1. It's only until the end of my turn. Which kind of sucks. But I'll put it on. Hades anyway. Give him the love. Give him the love. He's probably not going to last until the end of the next turn anyway, but we'll see. We shall see. So if the opponent gets rid of Hades or Philip, they will lose that one lore. So that is the trick here. We're not too worried about aggro, we're just worried about controlling the board so the opponent has to play our game instead of playing their own game. And as you can tell, the AI is not worried most of the time about actual threats on board. They'll only really go against threats if they know they can beat them without any major net loss. So they'll just quest for the majority of the time, which leaves their stuff wide open. Too bad we can't really swing into it. We can trade Hades for Mickey, which I'm really tempted to do. Oh, there you go, Hypnotize. We'll play that straight away. Discard one of their cards. Discard as a Swift Cleaner. Probably one of the best brooms to discard. And we get another Milo. Fantastic. Just to add to our own aggressions on our side. Okay, so I think on our end, what we'll now do... I'm actually going to do it. I'm actually going to trade Hades with their Mickey. Because if I get rid of their Mickey, it just means that the brooms aren't going to come back into their hands and cause shenanigans. I just need to do it. Then, as for questers, might as well quest with everybody. We'll quest with Philip and quest with Milo. I have one left remaining. If I put Milo in, the snake can still get rid of him. So I'm actually going to put Philip in, because Philip is bestowing everyone else that is a hero with Ward. He's probably more of a precious being to keep alive. So we'll do it that way. 12 versus 10, not too bad at the moment. 5 ink versus their 7, but it's to be known. There are obvious flaws with the deck. By no means is this deck meant to be like top level competitive. It's meant to be fun. Just a fun little budget deck that you can put out there. And it does what it does. You know, it just does what it does. It's fun. So they've lost one lore because of the attack there. We've lost the Cove. And there comes our Industrial Model, who puts resist on the Illuminary Keeper and the Goat. Youch. Okay. Threatening me with a goat. How dare you? How frickin' dare you? This is getting a little bit scary now. Not gonna lie. Ah, no. I can't even play out John Silver. That sucks. Okay. We're gonna have to wing it and threaten the board with our own questers, I think. I think you might actually have game, because I may not have calculated things right. Let me see. Got one of the go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's not game. That'll take you up to 19. But if you do target any of our boys, you're going to lose out on some lore there, buddy. Do you want to risk it? Do you want to risk it? I don't know. I don't know if you do or not. There's Fortisphere. Very good card in Steel. I love it. Depends. We're going to have to see. If they do what I think they will do. Oh my god, more card draw with another Fortisphere. Okay. Okay. This is showing the glaring problem with the deck. You go against any other deck that's competent, and you notice there are card draw issues. But this is a good thing to know. This is why we do tests. And this is why I'm doing this for YouTube content as well. Because I don't know if a deck's going to be good or not until I test it. And if I'm doing tests, I might as well do tests through YouTube. You guys can see problems. I can see problems. We can do some analysis together. Cross-examination and all that jazz. And we could try our best to make these decks the best they can possibly be. I think the issue that I'm going to have is that we're low on ink. So we need to sort out our ink ability. We are also low on card draw. So we may need to look at what we can do to help out the card draw ability. And speaking of card draw, there's Porpsicle. Typical. Do I play that with Porpsicle, or do I just wince the game? There's nothing I can do to really do anything. The only thing I can really do is if maybe I get into my other copy of Thatch, and I shift Thatch into other Thatch, and we have a Thatch batch, and I'm just tackle into the... Oh, but if I tackle into the goat, it's game anyway. Oh, no. I think that's it. We'll see anyway. What does Porpsicle give us? It gives us a Philip. Doesn't really help. But I can play it. And I'm just gonna... I'll quest with everybody. We'll do one last taunting run. We'll say GG to the Broom. because that is all over. We just can't do it. It doesn't matter what I take out. I would have basically needed a board wipe or something to do something on the entire board for us to be able to get anywhere, and it just wasn't going to happen. Okay, you're gonna do it that way. You're just gonna take out Rourke regardless and rub it in my face. There's Swift Cleaner. You're gonna shuffle back all your brooms. Brilliant job. Anything else for anyone else? Wow, you're just doing this for insult now, mate. The absolute level of insult I'm getting from this guy. Look! He's just wiping my board because he wants to. What a cheek. Cheeky AI cheek. And he had a Queen's Castle in his hand as well. Interesting. But there you go. I think we've seen some glaring issues. But let's go over them, shall we? So that is that. That is when Rourke met Hades. We've now noticed some glaring issues. The glaring issues are involving ink. We're just not inking enough. The other issues involving card draw. We are just unable to card draw enough. We only really saw bounce once. We never really got into bibbidi bobbidi boo to make it useful at any point. But yet again, I think that's down to card draw. Hidden Cove was handy and definitely helped us out in a lot of cases in the early game. But late game, as soon as it left the board, we were just left wide open for anything and everything control-wise to basically wipe us off. So Hidden Cove may not even be worth it. But this is a good first time round to test this deck out. I will do some revisions. I will have a look at what you guys think over in the comments. Feel free to post any of your thoughts of what we can do to maybe make this deck even better, and we'll make a version 2, which would be fantastic. Until version 2 is made and I do a follow-up video, or I do another video involving another deck. I hope you guys enjoyed, and you feel free to subscribe for some more explosive action in the future. Feel free to join the Discord server as well, where we go over all sorts, including Lorcana and a bunch of other games. Also, and like I said at the beginning of the video, be sure to check out my TikTok, where I do a bunch more Lorcana content for you guys to enjoy. Until next time, I'm TheXploder, you. This has been Rourke Meeting Hades, and I'll be seeing you next time. Stay explosive, peeps.